This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
The following contains descriptions of physical violence, sexual violence, and graphic descriptions of autopsies.
Hey listeners, welcome to episode 75 of TGIC Podcast. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Izzy.
And I'm Jordan.
So today we have a special guest joining us. This is my younger brother, Jordan. He was really annoyed that I had to script him to say that. He was actually making fun of the fact that we have a script. But
to be clear, we do not have a script.
No, we don't. We just have it for the introduction. But he was like, why would you say it? Anyway. So today, he's gonna listen to us, like, share the case and kind of just, like, offer his, like, little tidbits and thoughts throughout the episode, because that sounded fun to me, and he has to be on an episode. But the fun thing about this is he has never listened to an episode of our podcast. He has never listened to a true crime podcast. He doesn't know anything about the case that we're covering. So this is, like, he's giving a totally, like,
fresh, untouched perspective.
Yeah. No, I came up with this idea because I was talking with my grandma about the John Bonet case, and we're, like, talking about it, and he just, like, he butts in, and he's like, oh, this is what I think happened, and, like, he, like, shares, like, the most popular theory, but it was so funny because he meant it, because he, like, didn't know that was the most popular theory. Anyway, so this is, like, fun, because he just has, like, a totally fresh perspective on this, no prior information.
Yeah.
And so, for the case today, we actually picked something that was a little bit more well-known, so that, like, I don't know.
It would be more interesting.
Yeah, more interesting, more conspiracy.
And also, we haven't done a case like this in a while.
No, we haven't.
Or, like, ever.
Also, you love the conspiracy theory ones.
I do. I love a good conspiracy.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to get started. Jordan, do you want to say anything before we start?
No.
No, nothing. Okay.
Perfect.
Cool. Let's get started. So, we are going to be covering the assassination of John F. Kennedy. So, John F. Kennedy, JFK, he was born into a prominent family on May 29th of 1917 in Brookline, Massachusetts. He graduated from Harvard in 1940 at the age of 23 and joined the Navy. He left the Navy in 1943 following a PT boat collision that left him with serious injuries. Do you know what a PT boat is?
Nope.
Okay. I didn't know either, and I, like, was too lazy to Google that, so I was curious if you know. Sometimes you know things like that. That's why I kind of just thought you would know.
PT boat, World War II.
You know things with cars, so I thought you'd know what a PT boat is.
It's just a ship class.
Oh, okay.
So it's a motor torpedo boat used by the United States Navy. Small, fast, and inexpensive.
Okay, well.
With my nickname in high school.
PT boat. Small, fast, and inexpensive.
Anyways,
that's like a dad joke. That's like something my dad would say.
Anyways,
after returning from the Navy, he briefly worked in journalism, and then he moved into politics, which is where a lot of his family worked. He represented a working-class Boston district in the House of Representatives from 1947 to 1953, and then he moved into the U.S. Senate, where he served as the junior senator of Massachusetts for 7 years. During this time, he also published a book called Profiles in Courage, and then that actually won a Pulitzer Prize. I did not know he won a Pulitzer Prize.
I didn't know that either.
That's, like, kind of a big deal. I did not know about that.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
There's so many other things about him, like, I just did not know that. It was, like, a Pulitzer Prize in history. Like, he wrote, like, a book about history.
Oh.
It was so, like, random I learned that. Anyway. In 1960, he ran for president against Richard Nixon. His campaign took off after the first televised presidential elections, and he won the election. Isn't it crazy that was, like, the first televised presidential election?
That is insane.
I thought that was interesting. His presidency took place at the height of the Cold War, so tensions between the Soviet Union and the U.S. were really high at the time. So just before the assassination, so the assassination occurred in 1963, so he was coming up on another election year. JFK was working on his, like, campaign for re-election, and he had actually just lost popularity in Texas, which was, like, it's still a really important swing state, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But this was, like, not supposed to happen because his vice president, Lyndon B. Johnson, was actually from Texas. So, like, JFK, like, thought Lyndon B. Johnson had that covered. Like, everyone in Texas should be supporting them because of LBJ.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. So JFK had to go to Dallas to campaign and gain popularity. And so that's why he was in Dallas at the time of the assassination.
All right. So I'm going to get into the timeline a little bit. It's kind of very short because we kind of, like, go into theories more so. So, November 22nd of 1963, on the day of his assassination, JFK was in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas, and in the car with him, it was a convertible. He was with his wife, Jackie Onassis, and Texas Governor John Connally. And it's also, like, important to note that, like, they were going all throughout Texas for, like, a tour in order to get, like, reelected, like Jillian was saying.
It was like a parade, right?
It was like a parade. And I'm going to get into, like, the parade route in a little bit because that goes into theories a little bit. But anyways, so JFK was assassinated at 12:30 p.m. while in the car, like, in the motorcade. 3 bullets were believed to be shot in the attack. However, Kennedy was shot twice, once through the neck and a second time into his head, which was the fatal shot. Kennedy was taken to Parkland Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 1 p.m. Okay, so like I said, very, very short timeline.
Well, everything just happened so quickly. There's not a lot leading up to it. It's all kind of just, like, happened within a few minutes.
Exactly. So now we're going to get into the suspects and theories. So I'm going to go over the official theory, which is, like, what is commonly known and believed today.
It's accepted by the government.
Yes, exactly. So the Warren Commission investigated the JFK assassination, and it was led by the new elect president, Lyndon B. Johnson. Or not elect president, just new president. Yeah. He was not elected. He was not the president-elect. Sorry. LBJ.
I love that all these people have initials like that.
I know, JFK,
it's
LBJ.
It's so easy to say.
Yeah. So their investigation led them to believe that there was only one shooter who acted alone, and they believe that the assassin was Lee Harvey Oswald.
Also, why do all these people have 3 names, though?
I don't know.
And, like, why doesn't he get initials? Like, I know he's, like, an assassin, but
1960 thing.
LHO.
I guess LHO doesn't sound good.
I kind of like how it sounds.
Leho.
Okay,
yes,
now I understand why it's not.
We should just call him Leho for the rest of this episode. That is actually pretty funny. Anyways, further, they concluded that the shots were fired from a 6th-story window as the motorcade passed the Texas School Book Depository, which I don't know what that is. Do you know
that sounds like an old thing.
Yeah.
I don't think they have those anymore. They have computers.
No. So, just some history on Lee Harvey Oswald himself. Oswald tried to renounce his American citizenship in 1959 when he was in Russia.
Can you do that?
I don't know. It did not work out, though.
Can you decline to be a citizen?
I don't know. But that's just important to know, especially since there was, like, wasn't this the time during the Red Scare and stuff?
Yeah, this is, like, the height of the Cold War, the 60s? Yeah.
So that was, like, a big thing mentioned. He had a history of violence from a really young age, and he went to the Marine Corps, and he was trained to be a sharpshooter.
So, it's a hard word to say.
Sharpshooter?
Mm-hmm. It's like Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Yeah. This is a total rant, but have you seen that thing on TikTok where they're, like, getting Southern people to say, like, the 5 pots of boiling oil? 5.
What?
It's, like, this thing where it's, like, people who have, like, a Southern accent.
I saw someone saying 5.
5 pots of boiling oil. Boiling
Are you saying oil?
Oil.
Oh.
Boiling oil.
Those are, like, words I don't feel like I have a Southern accent on. The only time I have a Southern accent is, like, when I'm, like, serving people ice cream and I'm like, hey, y'all, what can I get started for you?
I think my Southern accent gets way worse just at random times.
But, like, some people, like, people say, like, 5 is a word that you have, like, I don't have an accent on 5. Because I'm not, like, 5. Like, I never say that. Maybe that's, like, because it's, like, an Atlanta thing, so y'all is a word that I say, like...
Y'all is something I say a lot.
I say y'all a lot, and it sounds Southern when I say it.
Y'all.
But, like, other words that are supposed to have, like, Southern accents on it, I don't sound Southern.
Yeah.
You have an accent?
You just had an accent when you said accent.
Yeah,
I know. You have an accent?
I say it, like, it's, like, random words. It's not, like, the ones they say you should have
Yeah, that's the same with me.
I don't think so.
I don't think you have one.
I've never heard you say y'all. Say y'all.
Y'all?
No.
He doesn't. See, that's like a non-Southern way of saying y'all. When I say it, I think it's the customer service.
It's enunciating the A differently.
Yeah.
Anyways,
y'all.
Sorry, y'all. That was a really big tangent I didn't need to do. But anyways, he was a sharpshooter.
How did we get to that?
I don't know. At the time of the assassination, Oswald was also under active FBI surveillance in Texas. However, the FBI did not inform the Secret Service about Oswald's, like, compromising position. Like, they weren't like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're actively, looking at this guy.
Dumb asses.
No, just wait. It's even more stunning when you realize that at the time, Oswald was employed in the Texas School Book Depository, which was, like, a building directly overlooking the path of the motorcade.
Bro, they're so dumb.
And that was literally where JFK was shot from, the 6th floor.
Also, like, why did they put JFK in a convertible?
I don't know.
Did they not have a car with a lid?
Why did the president was going to get shot?
Exactly.
Well, because it was the height of the Cold War. I don't know. And they were going to a place that was like, they just lost the popular vote there.
Yeah. And it's also
but why would you expect someone to just get shot?
True.
Because they're not popular.
It's happened before. Didn't Abraham Lincoln get assassinated?
He's the only one.
Yeah, but he was like at a concert.
It was a while ago.
Oh.
It was a concert.
MLK had just been assassinated.
It was a play.
It was
It was a rave.
They did not have like concerts.
Top hat rave.
It's like when was he alive? 1600s?
No, the 1800s, the Civil War.
The U.S. wasn't even a country in the 1600s.
Stick with STEM.
During the 1800s, there was not concerts.
During the 1600s, there wasn't America.
It was like,
Thinking about Bridgerton, which is also not placed during the 1600s.
Or in America.
Anyways, so, yeah, that happened.
Why didn't they let him know, though?
Well, okay, here's the thing. So this basically meant that, like, Oswald had perfect position for taking fire from one of the higher floors in the building, which he did.
yes, he did.
And also, like, apparently, like, okay, here, this is what I'm going to tell you. The Secret Service did not inform the local FBI about the trail of the motorcade either, just to keep it super secret, apparently.
Okay, but don't you need, like, backup?
Well, okay, this, like, I guess they just had no reason, so then the FBI had, like, no reason to tell the Secret Service about Oswald, because they didn't know they were going to pass that building.
But they still knew he was in Dallas.
Yeah, and
it was a parade. Like, he could have just attended.
Yeah, I have no idea. And it was also, like, the motorcade was weird in itself. Like, I'm just going to add some notes about it, because, like, a lot of people criticize it because it had so many twists and turns and unnecessary, like, super slowing points. And also it was around so many buildings that there were, like, hundreds and hundreds of windows, which could not be all monitored. Like, it would be impossible. So it was, like, weirdly set up to begin with by the, like, Secret Service. So the shots were fired from a, sorry about this pronunciation, Mannlicher Carcano 6.5 millimeter rifle from Italy. Very specific.
Wow.
A whole bullet and 2 bullet fragments were found, which matched the exact rifle that was found in the 6th-story window. And next to the 6th floor window were 3 matching bullet casings that were found with the rifle. And also the...
Wait, sorry. I have a clarifying question because I don't really understand guns. So 3 bullet casings mean that there were 3 shots fired?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, I did need to clarify that.
No, thank you for clarifying it. And also, the Warren Commission pointed out that Oswald owned the exact same rifle that was used in the assassination and had possession of it before it. So, yeah. So, very interesting note. And also, like, another thing about Oswald's history is that he attempted to kill an army general in 1963 and he failed, thus indicating his malice and ability to, like, kill someone in cold blood. And then also, 45 minutes after the assassination, he killed a Dallas police officer with a revolver.
Why? Like, wait, a different gun?
Yeah, different gun.
Why?
I don't know.
He was
because
on a rampage.
Yeah, he was on a rampage, and then 2 days later, he was killed by a different assassin.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Which is insane.
Assassinated after.
So it's like, can never truly be that much clarity.
Damn.
So, getting into the theory itself now that you have the background. This whole theory of Lee Harvey Oswald acting by himself rests upon a sub-theory that the first shot was fired was a so-called, quote-unquote, magic bullet.
There's so many names in this case.
There are. So this case is so complicated.
Like, you'll see later, like, there's just so many, like, references, like, that are so, like the magic bullet theory, like, that's just so, like, Like, who coined that? That's
yeah,
clever.
I don't know. It's very clever. And it's also, like, this is actually batshit crazy.
What is that?
So, this bullet is believed to have been shot from the 6th-story window by the same gun used for the other 2 bullets. This magic bullet, went through the back of JFK's neck, exiting through and then into Texas Governor John Connally's back, traveling out of his chest, under his nipple, then going through his hand and lodging into his leg.
One bullet did that.
One bullet.
Did you follow that?
So wait, it ended up
into this
Connally's
guy's
leg?
leg.
It shoots, it goes through JFK, through the other guy, and then through the other guy again.
Yeah, and the thing is, so when they were carrying John Connolly on the stretcher, they found this bullet had fallen out of his leg, fully intact.
It didn't break?
Did not break, did not shatter, which is very odd, especially, like, a bullet from that distance.
Yeah.
Because all of the other ones, like, totally shattered.
Yeah, well, it was also coming from, like, a 6th-story window. It's not even like it was, like, right there.
And it went through 2 men in 1 chair.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
It went through a chair?
Yeah, it went through the back of the seat.
Yeah, because they weren't in the
Oh
same
my
row.
God.
Yeah.
And it went through one man twice.
Yeah. So, many argue, like, that this was literally impossible due to the
it sounds
angle
impossible.
and, like, other circumstances, but the commission argued that it was the only possible explanation since the shooter would not have had enough time to fire another shot and there was not another casing found. So, if the magic bullet theory is not possible, then the only other explanation is that there was another shooter. So, kind of disproving this theory. So, suppose that the first shot was in fact a miss, like it didn't actually hit Kennedy, because this was not, the magic bullet was not the shot that killed him.
Mm-hmm.
It was the second one after that went into his head. So, suppose there was a shot that was a miss. And then there was a second shot fired, which was believed to have caused the damage, like, of the magic bullet. If it was just Oswald firing, then another shot would not have been possible during this time frame due to, like, the reload speed on the rifle that he was using. Also, like I said, there were only 3 cases, not 4. Meaning that a second shooter would have been responsible for the shot that would have, like, just another shot.
So basically, there was either the magic bullet theory is what happened.
Yeah.
So there was a misfire, and then there was the one bullet that did all the damage.
Exactly.
Or there was the misfire, a first shot that hit someone, and then there was a second shot. But the second shot could not have been from Lee Harvey Oswald because he would not have had time to reload the gun.
Exactly.
I just felt like Elle Woods right there.
You did. You put it all together. And also, like, in the 1970s, there was a new acoustic research technique that was used on the audio in the first Zabrager film, which was the, like, known.
Izzy, that is so not how you pronounce it.
How do you pronounce it?
Zapruder?
Zapruder.
What did you call it?
Zabrager.
Zapruder.
Anyways, yeah, that. And so they used it on the audio, and it showed that there were possibly 6 sound patterns related to shots fired.
So there could have been 6 shots?
6 shots.
Maybe the other assassin, maybe Lee Harvey Oswald did kill JFK, but the other assassin was mad that he didn't kill him, and that's why Lee Harvey Oswald was killed.
That's actually
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
He was just jealous.
Like, there was, like, a competition who could shoot him first.
Yeah. And it's also, like, there was, like, a bunch of, like, confusing witness statements about, like, some people were like, oh, yeah, I only heard 3 shots. Some guy said he got, like, nicked by a stray bullet. Like, there's, like, so many other things going into this as well.
I think it's crazy that, like, okay, so, like, the Warren Commission is, like, the official theory that, like, the government accepts, like, that's what the government was like, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. But, like, that whole commission rides on the fact that the magic bullet theory is true, and I just don't know how the government accepted the magic bullet theory.
No, because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Literally, the magic bullet theory sounds more conspiracy-like than the actual conspiracies we're going to talk about.
No, exactly. Like, it just seems so improbable. And, like, I don't know.
So, like, how is that what the government accepted?
Well, because they probably didn't look for the other assassin, so it's a lot easier to just accept the fact.
Or they were covering something up.
Yes.
Yes.
And that gets into the beginning of the rest of the conspiracy theories, because this is probably, like, one of the biggest, like, conspiracy cases in the U.S.
Wait.
Oh, you're not done.
No.
There's actually more.
Additionally, in 1976, a House Committee on Assassinations declared that JFK's assassination was a result of a greater conspiracy and believed that there were likely two shooters.
So the government's not even agreeing with each other.
No, it's not. And it's also, like, this is just so confusing. Like, in the audio testing, too, like, I don't know, it's so interesting to me. And it's like, you have half the witnesses who are saying there were 3 shots, and then some other people who are saying there are more. And it's like, okay, if people, like, what if it was like a government payoff?
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting.
Okay, so the first conspiracy theory I'm going to talk about is Little Earth. I wrote down LBJ.
Did you remember saying LBJ?
What? I was about to say little, I don't know what I was about to say. Anyway, LBJ involvement. Anyways, let's just forget that. So this theory is that Lyndon B. Johnson was somehow involved in the assassination of JFK. So this theory is based on the idea that he would have assassinated JFK for political power. So prior to his presidency, LBJ had attempted to take the Democratic nomination from JFK before he ran in the 1960 election.
Mm-hmm.
He also reportedly asked to do more with his old role of Texas senator, suggesting that he was kind of dissatisfied with his role as VP.
Yeah.
He felt bored and wasn't getting enough done.
Yeah, I read in an article that he quote unquote felt emasculated by
I think
the
that's
role,
crazy.
which is so interesting.
But yeah, so apparently he was asking to do more stuff because he was kind of dissatisfied with his job. And then there was also a rumor going that he wouldn't actually be running as VP with JFK in the next election. Which is kind of crazy, because isn't it pretty uncommon for a president to switch their VP, between...
Yeah, elections.
Yeah. So, further, the two supposedly had a really serious conversation the day before. And LBJ had just lost that Texas support that I was talking about, which was, kind of his job.
Yeah.
Being from Texas, I'm pretty sure JFK was probably I shouldn't have a problem because, Lyndon B. Johnson's got that. That's his state. But then he lost support. So I imagine if they were having a serious conversation, it was probably about this. And JFK was like, you need to come to Dallas and get the shit together.
Yeah.
We need them back. Anyway, so then they go to Dallas or whatever. Prior to the trip, though, LBJ spoke with a lawyer in Texas whose name was Byron Skelton. Now,
what's up with all these people's names?
No, I know, aren't they whack? But also, this is going to sound really weird because this is just some random lawyer, so I'm not really sure why he knows what he knows.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. But apparently this dude was, saying how the political climate in Texas was just super unstable right now, and he actually feared for the president's safety. He told this to Lyndon B. Johnson, who never told this to JFK or anybody else.
Wow.
So, everyone knew, yeah?
Why would he do it November 22nd, 1963? Why is that the time period that because that's so late on in the term that he'd have to run a year later to be reelected to stay president. So he'd only get a year in charge.
It's actually a really fair point. I've never thought about that. He would only have a year in charge.
Yeah, because he could have lost the 1964 election.
Yeah, I mean, he did win it, but...
Yeah, but he could have lost.
You have such a good point. I've never thought about that. That is kind of just silly of him.
That's tell me, LBJ.
Yeah, because JFK was the guy, JFK had all this charm. That was, a big appeal of his campaign, right? Was,
his charm.
Yeah.
The Kennedy charm.
And so, Lyndon B. Johnson didn't necessarily have that, and he lost his home state, so what if he didn't win the next election?
And he just kind of...
Okay, yeah, wait, that's kind of a good point. That kind of, either discredits this theory, or it's just him being a silly goose.
Silly goose.
Well, to be fair, though, probably... JFK probably would have won the next election.
He would have, yeah.
Yeah.
So
over LBJ.
So then why not wait a year on the assassination?
Well, because then he would be the next best because he was the president, the incumbent.
Yeah.
So, he had a better chance of winning.
Yeah.
More likely. So I think maybe that's why.
Interesting.
Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of safety concerns going on in Dallas that no one was talking to each other about. They got the crazy Russian guy who doesn't want to be a U.S. citizen anymore.
Well, he wasn't Russian.
Yeah, he wasn't actually Russian. He wanted to be. He was a tryhard.
He wanted to be Russian.
Russian
wannabe.
Yeah, and then they got the unstable political climate. Basically, it was just real dangerous in Texas, and no one was letting JFK know that it was a terrible idea to go here. So the night before the assassination, LBJ supposedly attended a party with a woman that he was having an affair with. Wow. Okay, I'm pretty sure all these motherfuckers were having affairs.
Of course they were.
Didn't JFK have an affair with
1960s?
Yeah.
Sorry.
For them it was.
1960s.
Didn't he have an affair with Marilyn Monroe, or is that another guy?
I've heard about that. Okay,
I thought that was true. Anyway. Yeah, so all these mofos were having affairs. Anyway, while at this party, apparently he whispered into this woman's ear, "After tomorrow, those Kennedys will never embarrass me again. That's no threat. That's a promise."
Okay.
LBJ said that?
Yeah, to his mistress.
Ooh.
LBJ is guilty.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
So that's pretty suspicious, right? However, like I said, they went to Dallas the night before. It wasn't like they flew in day of. They were in Dallas when this supposedly happened.
Yeah.
And also because they were in Dallas on this trip, they were being heavily monitored by security because
obviously.
They wouldn't want anything bad to happen to the president or the vice president.
Yeah.
So they're being heavily monitored. So this conversation most likely didn't happen just because no one knew of Lyndon B. Johnson going to a party in Dallas.
Yeah.
So all of it kind of just sounds fishy just because this probably didn't happen, or if maybe it happened another night, but I don't know, it just kind of fishy.
It just seems like a big conspiracy.
Yeah, it kind of seems like the mistress just said something for funsies.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. I would maybe say something for funsies for the attention. I don't know. I wasn't around in the 60s. I wasn't having an affair with the vice president, but I don't know. Sounds like she just said something to get a little bit of fame. But, there's that is kind of the only solid, it's not even solid, that's the only somewhat evidence to support this theory at all. And also, but okay, the other thing that sort of it half discredits him, or half discredits this theory that Lyndon B. Johnson put the Warren Commission together, he was the one who put that together.
Yeah. So
which sounds oh great, that wouldn't obviously no one wants him to get in trouble, he wouldn't want himself to get in trouble, so why would he have people investigating? But,
he can cover up stuff.
He fucking put the commission together. What if the commission was just put together so, to cover his tracks?
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, I don't know. I don't know where I stand with that theory.
I think it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Okay, so our next theory is some sort of Russian-Soviet involvement. So there's high tensions, we've mentioned, because of the Cold War. This is when the Cold War was really bad. It was not near the end. It was not quite the start either.
It was middle.
It was the height. So like we said earlier, Lee Harvey Oswald had attempted to become a Soviet citizen previously and not be an American anymore. So he wants to be Russian.
Yeah.
But the US was nah, Russia was nah, but he's still obsessing. He loves it. So it's a potential theory that he could have been acting as a KGB agent. And he had actually just been to the Russian embassy in Mexico, a couple weeks before.
What's
interesting.
KGB?
I don't know what it stands for. I know it's the Russian FBI, though.
KGB meaning, yeah.
What does it
an
stand
undercover agent?
Oh, that's Russian words.
Yeah. Komitet Gosud.
Don't try to pronounce that.
Nope, not gonna try to pronounce it.
It's the.
I'm gonna put it in a Google thing.
It's FBI, but Russian.
Pronunciation. How to pronounce. How to say KGB.
Just put it in Google Translate.
Oh,
Make her
duh.
say it out loud.
Google Translate English to Russian.
See, State Security
Комитет
Committee.
государственной безопасности.
That.
Yeah, it's the FBI, but Russian. Anyway,
Yeah.
so they thought he could have been acting one of those, and he had just been to the Russian embassy in Mexico, which is why would he be there? However, this is kind of unlikely because, like, the Soviet Union was not stupid.
No.
Like, the Cold War lasted, like, decades. Like, they were clearly not dumb. So if they were going to assassinate the American
They would have done
president,
it better than this.
They would have done it better than this. They would not have sent in someone to do it who was, like, known to be, like, a bitch for Russia.
Yeah, and he was also just kind of spazzy and trigger happy. Like, he had tried to...
He killed that police officer
He killed the police officer after he had tried and failed to assassinate someone before this. Like, I feel like if they're going to trust anyone to do this, it would not be him.
And he just had too many clear connections to, like, being obsessed with Russia. So, like, why would they do something that would so easily point at them?
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's, like, sketchy to me.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get into mafia involvement.
I left that one for you because I figured you would want it.
I love a good mafia conspiracy theory. I still think about the geriatric homicide, which was one of our earliest cases.
Oh my god, that was so long ago.
Stuck in my brain forever. I think about that often in their mafia involvement conspiracy theory. Anyways, so the conspiracy goes like this. 3 separate mob groups had claimed to be responsible for the assassination, including the Miami, New Orleans, and Chicago mob.
That's crazy. They were all separately trying to take credit for this.
Yeah. So Robert Kennedy, Attorney General and JFK's brother, who wasn't he also assassinated?
JFK's brother?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I thought he was just dead.
No, I thought he was assassinated.
Let me Google it. Fact check. JFK brother.
Just say Robert Kennedy.
Isn't that the guy running for president?
No, he's junior.
Oh.
Yeah. Robert Kennedy, he was assassinated.
He was assassinated too, 5 years later.
Yeah, Kennedy curse. Anyways, Robert Kennedy had worked a lot against organized crime, which could have angered these groups. Jack Ruby, who assassinated Lee Harvey Oswald, owned a Dallas nightclub, and many believed he had mafia connections.
He probably did if he owned a nightclub.
Yeah.
I feel like people who own nightclubs have to have mafia connections.
Yeah. He could have killed Lee Harvey Oswald to shut him up about, like, everything. There's also a theory that suggests that the mafia and the CIA worked together to plot against JFK. In 2015, a former mafia hitman claimed that he was the second shooter and was involved in the conspiracy between the mafia and the CIA.
There are so many people trying to take credit for this.
Yeah, I don't know, like,
What is
why.
Cool, you killed the president.
I mean,
not
not
cool like that,
whoa,
but,
okay.
I'm saying if you're in the mafia, like, that's probably, like, the
It's
top
clout.
of the
Yeah,
list.
I guess it probably is like a flex point if you're in the mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no evidence to support any of this except the Kennedy's connection to Sam Giancana, the head of the Chicago mob.
That is a dope name.
That is a dope name.
I want it.
Who supposedly worked with JFK's father as a bootlegger during Prohibition and helped JFK win in the 1960 election. They also reportedly shared a mistress.
Isn't that weird? Because
Which is
there's a pretty
interesting.
big age gap between those two.
Yeah. Yeah. And in 1975, Sam Giancana was assassinated just before he was supposed to testify in a case of assassination with CIA involvement.
Which is so coded sounding. Like, how many assassinations
Yeah.
with CIA involvement could there possibly be?
Oh, exactly. Like,
Why is everyone getting assassinated?
why are so many assassinations? This is crazy.
Because there's no gun legislation in the United States.
Real. Seriously.
Had to
No,
drop a
but they're
little
all-
political bomb.
But they're all assassins. Like, it's not even just, like, walking up and shooting them. It's like...
I think that's
snipers,
still an
isn't it?
assassination, no?
Is it?
I thought assassination just meant killing someone with a gun.
Oh, every time I think of assassination, I think it's, like, long distance.
No,
like-
that could also be murder. Like, assassination is
Well,
killing
isn't-
someone of political, or like,
Oh, it has to be political?
yeah, like, if I killed you, it wouldn't be assassination.
Well, not if you didn't kill me with a gun. The action of assassinating
That's
someone.
stupid.
Willful killing by a sudden, secret, or planned attack of a person, especially a prominent...
Oh,
employee.
okay. So it has to be
Okay.
like an important person. So like
Yeah.
if you shot me, it would not be an assassination.
No,
Okay,
it would be murder.
Never mind. Then. It makes sense.
So it's
that they were all
like-
assassinations, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, an assassin is different than a hitman.
Okay. Yeah. Well, unless the hitman kills someone
Well,
who
then they're
of
an
important
assassin.
political power.
Well, then they're an assassin and not a hitman.
I'm learning so much about
But they were
words
a
right now.
hired assassin.
Yes, a hired assassin.
Isn't the word assassination crazy because it's spelled ass and then ination?
You put the ass in assassination, girl. Fuck. We should make a sticker of that.
No, we should not. I wouldn't buy that.
Butt so big, you put 2 asses in assassination.
Oh! Oh, new pickup line. Hey, girl, you put the ass in assassination. Anyways.
Okay, now we're gonna actually talk about, like, the CIA involvement, which is totally, like, the theory I buy into.
Yeah.
I'll be upfront about it. This is totally the theory I buy into.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the head of the CIA at the time was on the Warren Commission, yet the CIA still actually withheld information from that commission. Like, they later found out that there was all this information that the CIA, like, did not tell the Warren Commission while they were investigating, which, like, seems important. The head of the CIA, like, also being on the Warren Commission, sketchy to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's super sketchy.
that feels convoluted.
Convoluted.
It feels convoluted. So why would the CIA assassinate JFK, you may ask? Because I was wondering. JFK may have figured out that the CIA had a plan to kill Fidel Castro, and they were concerned that JFK, like, might have a different agenda or just, like, disband the CIA and be like, no. They, like, didn't...
Disband the CIA.
Well, they could have been concerned that they were going to, like, get a no-go on their plan. They really wanted to assassinate Castro, and JFK was not happening.
Okay.
Anyway, a forensic historian wrote a book that theorized that 4 high-level agents not only planned the shooting, but 3 of them actually fired 4 of the shots. But firing 4 shots also doesn't necessarily line up, because I thought there was only 3 shots.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This is all a little sketchy.
Well, apparently there could have been up to 6 shots.
Yeah, I know.
True.
Everything about the gun really confuses me.
Yeah,
it's like there's 3 bullet casings, but they heard 6 shots, and then this guy's like there's 4 shots, and I don't know.
Where it could have been from a different angle.
Yeah,
It's really convoluted.
Yeah, that. So the CIA actually could have picked Oswald because of his Soviet connections. Like, that really, like, no one would suspect the CIA picked a guy who, like, hated America to assassinate the president. You know what I mean?
And then they could have gotten him assassinated later because of their connection with the mafia.
Yeah, like, I feel
to cover their tracks.
It's a solid plan to pick Oswald.
Yeah.
Anyway, additionally, after the failed Bay of Pigs invasion, JFK changed CIA staffing around, which might have pissed them off.
Yeah.
Like, he changed a lot of stuff around, so that might have angered them. Okay, so this leads into, like, kind of a sub-theory of the CIA involvement, and that is the Umbrella Man.
Ooh.
This is what I meant. There's so many names in this case.
There are.
Okay, the Umbrella Man. So, in the Zapruder film, you can see a man that's standing alone with an open umbrella. This is super strange because it wasn't raining, and no one else has an umbrella. So it's not like it was just raining, and so everyone, like, had umbrellas with them.
Weird.
Like,
Shady.
it wasn't raining.
Super shady.
And no one else had one. And just as JFK's car passes the Umbrella Man and he is struck with the first bullet, that is when the Umbrella Man sorry, I, like, said that in a really weird order. Just as, like, JFK, the first bullet hits him, that's when they pass the Umbrella Man.
Okay.
Happens at, like, the same time. It also appears that the man lifts his umbrella, like, a foot or so higher in the air as this happens. I just, like, lifted my arm, like, to
maybe he
demonstrate.
was looking to see where the shot was coming from. Because if you heard a shot fired, you would be like, holy shit.
Yes, but why does he have an umbrella?
Maybe he has skin cancer.
He also had a hat.
Skin cancer.
Anyway, this leads to 2 theories if you want to have fun, unlike Izzy. Either the umbrella was a signal to another gunman, so, like, the first shot hits, he raises his umbrella, and the second shooter goes.
Okay.
So that's one theory. I'm, like, acting this out. Like, no one can see me except for these 2. Or this umbrella is actually a spy weapon that fires darts, which actually could have resulted in this small hole that's found in JFK's neck.
That's the dumbest thing.
That is so dumb. How would he get it so directly into his neck?
I don't know.
Where is the dart?
Also, when did he point the umbrella at his
He
neck?
didn't. Where would it shoot from?
Actually, that leads me to my next point. A man who worked for the Department of Defense later testifies to, like, the Senate that he actually knows this weapon exists because he designed it.
Okay, well, where did the darts come from?
Okay, he actually
How
said
small are they?
They come out of, like, the webbing of the umbrella. So somehow, like, Umbrella Man goes, and then the dart goes, do.
Well, why would he hit him if he already got shot?
Yeah, what? He just got shot in the throat, and the guy's like, let me hit him with a dart just to show him.
Let me poke him.
Okay, but why does this umbrella thing exist?
And
like,
what
this
is the
crazy.
dart? Like, okay, is it, like, poison?
I don't know.
He's already dead.
Okay.
I don't think this is necessary. Like.
Okay, bear with me. Just before the shooting, the CIA was quoted saying that they would offer an umbrella of air protection in a certain operation that JFK was against, which could be like kind of this potential Easter egg, like connection type thing. They were like, oh, we'll provide an umbrella of protection. And JFK was like, no. And then they were like, we'll kill you with an umbrella.
What?
So, Jillian, respectfully, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Umbrella of protection. They were like, hey, just to be ironic, we're going to kill you with an umbrella after you've already been shot through the throat.
Well, it's like a part of the whole effort. Anyway, the umbrella is...
I don't think anyone's that petty.
Okay, do you want to hear something weird? The umbrella...
I've already heard something weird.
The umbrella is seen closed before and after the assassination. It is only open just as the car passes him and the first bullet hits.
Maybe the sun was going into his eyes.
Just as the car passed?
Yeah.
Strange coincidence.
You don't know the sun angle?
Anyway.
Were you there?
The man, the umbrella man.
You are the umbrella man. That's why you're trying to convince us so much.
Okay, so the umbrella man also does not flee the scene afterwards like everyone else. Like, everyone hears shots fired, they're running in a panic, freaking out, blah, 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 blah. He just, like, walks over and sits on a nearby curb with another man.
Well, maybe if his skin cancer made him tired.
What?
Just down on the curb.
You're making shit up at this point. It's
I'm
weird
not
he doesn't
making
flee.
it up.
Maybe he's just a weird person.
Yeah,
There's
maybe
weird
he's
people.
just weird.
He probably is weird. He had an umbrella in the sun today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we just looked up a picture of the umbrella man.
And both of these motherfuckers were like, yeah, he looks shady. So I'm going to
Well,
continue.
he was dressed in all black and had a black umbrella. He's even wearing a hat, which I know.
Yeah,
you
he has
said
like a
earlier,
bowler
but,
hat on. Like, he looks sketchy as fuck.
What if he's a teleporter? Time
Ooh.
Time
Have
traveler.
Have you seen all the vines that are like AI made, but they're like time travelers mess them up?
What?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What?
Don't worry about it. No. What if he is a time traveler?
No, that actually, I kind of buy that. Like,
And he was dressed for different weather.
Have you ever seen, like, Gravity Falls? There was that one time
Yes.
traveler dude. What was his name?
Oh, he was dumb though.
I don't know.
Weird, though.
Anyway, well, he was animated. But anyway, so he's like super sketchy. Anyway, years later, the supposed umbrella man actually comes forward, and he's this guy named Louis Stephen Witt, another three-namer. And he testifies to a Senate committee and claims he brings the umbrella with him. Which also, like, is super dumb, because, like, how do I know that's the same umbrella?
It could have just
He
been
literally,
any
he shows
black
up and he's like,
umbrella.
look, this is my umbrella. It doesn't have darts in it. But, like, how do I know it's the same umbrella? You don't know. Anyway, he said that the umbrella was actually a form of protest against JFK's dad, whose prior policies he disagreed with. Apparently, JFK's dad, I think his name was Joseph, he was, like, super against appeasement policies or something. I don't know. I wasn't following. It was a lot of politic talk. Anyway, but this guy didn't agree with him. Anyway, the umbrella was an accessory that was frequently used by Neville Chamberlain, who's this British leader guy. You've definitely heard of Neville Chamberlain. He was, like, in World War II with the British.
Why have I definitely heard of him? I didn't do well in history.
Like, you just know the name. Like, he's Neville Chamberlain. He's, like, he either came before or after Winston Churchill.
Yes, Neville Chamberlain.
Anyway, Neville Chamberlain promoted appeasement, which Louis Stephen Witt liked, and because, you know, he used this umbrella, he was like, I'm going to protest against JFK's dad in front of JFK with my umbrella, because
He's
that's
blocking out the haters.
Yes. So he says he only opened it when he did because that's when JFK would see it.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does.
It does.
But it's, like, not as fun.
And then that also makes sense why he would be dressed like that.
Also, like, who protests with an umbrella, though? That's fucking weird.
No, it's not weird. If Kennedy knew the symbolism.
I don't think I would. It was his dad. Like, I don't think I would put those pieces together. I'm gonna be so for real.
Well, people are weird. We've already established this. I think
People are weird.
this guy was either a time traveler, he is this protester, or he had skin cancer and could not be in the sun.
I like the time.
I was gonna say, I kind of like the time traveler thing. I've never really thought about that before. Like, maybe he was just like,
He got the weather wrong.
yeah, or like, I don't know. Maybe the umbrella is like his what is that car they use? What is that car they use in Back to the Future? The DeLorean. Maybe the umbrella is his DeLorean.
Yeah.
And he was trying to hold it up because he was like, I gotta get out of here so I don't get shot and
He's
not
like,
be able to
I
travel.
gotta scoot.
And then it wasn't working when he lifted it in the air. And then that's why he sat down. He was like, I have to reassess what my umbrella does.
Yeah, he was like, I gotta figure this out, guys, or I won't be able to make it back to the future.
And maybe they made it so that he could time travel, you know, so like he could see the assassination and see
then
if he
time
could get
travel.
any more information.
Yeah, and then he got caught and he got implicated in all this.
Okay, so this is just it.
Yeah, like I would actually be curious to know like when they discovered all these theories about like the Umbrella Man. Like I wonder if this was something they didn't even know for a really long time and it was something that like wasn't actually there, and then because he's a time traveler he like inserted
He like connected
himself.
Interesting.
Like butterfly effect. Sorry, this is like so we sound like insane.
We
like,
sound crazy. I'm sorry.
We sound like we have tinfoil.
We're so scared.
We sound fucking insane.
Tinfoil hats. It's crazy.
Like the conspiracy theory people.
Well, just wait until the next theory.
Okay. So now these are like not really theories. These are, I'm calling them other tidbits because they're like related and they're weird, but they're definitely not theories.
Okay.
Anyway, so the first one is the babushka lady.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Jordan, I thought we brought you on for such a fun case. I thought this was so exciting. Anyway, so the babushka lady.
Do you have pictures?
Jordan
Yeah,
just
I just
Googled.
pulled
He's
it
been
up.
sitting here this whole time on his computer. Every time I mention someone, he Googles them to see a picture.
She's weird looking.
Is that her?
Well, it might not be. Anyway, basically,
Maybe she's the time
maybe you
traveler.
should let me talk about the babushka
Okay.
lady. Anyway, the babushka lady is this woman that is seen in several photographs, and she's in the Zapruder film, and she's like at the assassination. She's wearing like a scarf and sunglasses, so you can't see her face.
She looks like every woman in this
Why
time
is she
period.
smiling?
I don't know why she is smiling. That is definitely suspicious. Anyway, so she like her face is covered. You can't see who she is.
It's sunny. She's wearing sunglasses.
Okay, but it's relevant because no one knows who she is. That's why she's called the babushka lady.
Okay.
Anyway.
So funny looking. Why is she smirking? She's...
In the footage, she's seen taking pictures like with a camera, which is not weird. Like it was like the president, so like people are taking pictures, right? But following the assassination, the FBI asked everyone who's taking pictures, videos, like this is how they get the Zapruder film. They ask all of these people like how, like so they can turn in their cameras and whatever, so they can see as much evidence as possible. However, the babushka lady, even though they see her taking pictures, she's never found and she never turned in her photos.
Okay.
So she's kind of just like an enigma. Like no one knows what happened to her, but she's seen taking pictures. So like, what if she has really important evidence?
Yeah.
But she never turned it in. Years later, there's this woman named Beverly Oliver, who's who you're looking at a picture of.
That's okay.
She claimed to be the babushka lady. Like years later, she's like, I am Babs, but she actually probably wasn't Babs because her claim. Like, this doesn't make any sense because she was only 17 years old at the time of the assassination, and you guys just saw the pictures.
Yeah, she looks old.
Of the real, you saw like the pictures of the real babushka lady, and she doesn't look nearly, like she wouldn't be 17. She was definitely like at least 40.
Yeah.
Like she is not young. What'd you look up?
I don't know. Mary Mormon?
I didn't see her when I looked.
She was like she was one of like people you should also search for.
Is she the real babushka?
She looks kind of like her.
She does look kind of like
Yeah.
her.
Like, cause also, what was the other lady's name? Beverly Oliver.
Uh-huh.
She had blonde hair, but in the photo, like her hair was very dark, even though it was black and white.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, like that woman
Yeah.
blonde hair. But this lady, Mary Mormon, her face shape kind of looks the same, and she has dark hair.
I buy it. But this is just weird because like this isn't really a theory. It's just like who is she? Why didn't she never turn in her pictures? Like
And look at this photo of her with sunglasses on. Like it looks like
That is her.
that other
I buy
picture.
that's her, but like why didn't she turn in her pictures?
Maybe she just never got them
She's
developed.
still alive too.
Well, can she turn in her pictures?
No,
Maybe
she's 91.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of just like an interesting thing. Like, who is this babushka
Little
lady?
tidbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
That sounded so sarcastic.
Fascinating.
That's fascinating, Jillian. Why don't you just shut up?
No, but that actually is interesting, though. Like, where are her pictures?
Yeah. Because,
Who
like,
has
what if they were good pictures and, like, they actually showed evidence? What if they showed a second shooter?
Actually,
Interesting.
Mary Mormon did turn in her photos.
Oh, so then it probably isn't her. The babushka.
But this is her shitty photo. Look at that.
They were old-ass cameras.
So, yeah. That's interesting, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to talk about the Kennedy curse for a second.
I feel like it's, like, relevant. We totally have to mention it.
Yeah, I just feel like we have to mention it because I feel like it's always associated with this case. And it was just literally people always brush it off and they're like, oh, it was just like a really big family with like a lot of generations. But people were just dying in tragic, horrible accidents, murders, assassinations, like, left and right. Like, there's so much misfortune in this family. Like, I don't think... Have you guys ever heard of Grey Gardens? Like, the movie?
No.
Okay, so basically, Grey Gardens is about... it's a documentary.
Have you
It's
seen
like
it?
It's a true story about mother and daughter Edith Beale and they're both named Edith Beale, actually. And basically, like, the documentary is crazy because they lived in this massive house. It was like a mansion in, like, a beautiful part of, like, New England. But then it, like, totally fell into disrepair and, like, they, like, lost all their money. But they were, like, actually, like, this documentary is wild. Like, it's
What
just
does this have to do
about...
with the Kennedys?
They are the Kennedys. They're...
Oh!
Yeah. Like, they, like, kind of just went a little bit... like, wild.
Huh.
And, like, the documentary is just insane. But it just, like, shows, like, there's so much misfortune in this family. And it all happens, like, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, which we have linked in our, like, sources. And it's, like, John F. Kennedy Jr. died when the plane he was piloting crashed into the Atlantic Ocean in 1999. It's just, like, all of these.
Mm-hmm.
Robert F. Kennedy was shot in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles in 1968.
Didn't they also have a sister who was, like, really severely disabled?
Yes, Rosemary Kennedy.
Yeah.
And she was given she wasn't actually, so she had mental health issues, and then she was given a lobotomy.
Oh, they actually, like, gave people those?
Yeah.
I thought that was, like, a thing people said sarcastically on TikTok.
No. She
Lobotomies
actually
were, like,
received
real?
a lobotomy, yes.
Oh, God.
And that's what caused, like, her disability in her
Oh, my God,
older
that's
age.
terrible.
But it's just, like, people went missing. Maeve Kennedy McKean, in April 2nd of 2020, disappeared with her 8-year-old son Gideon during a short canoe trip in the Chesapeake Bay.
Oh, my God, that was, like, recently.
Yeah, and their bodies were found later.
That was, like, really recently. Jesus.
Yeah, no, but it's, like, so many occurrences of just, like, horrible, horrible misfortune
Maybe
in this
they
family.
were cursed.
You mean, like, the
Yeah.
Kennedy curse?
Well, okay, but I think, like, maybe it has to do with, like, the devil or something.
Or, like, witches?
Yeah, like, they
Yeah.
traded something. Yeah,
I
you
could
never
totally
know.
see
Or,
them
like,
pissing
someone
off some
cursed their
witches
family,
during, like,
though,
the
like-
witch time.
Yeah, because the first, like, recorded, like, incidence of this, like, Kennedy curse was in 1944 when Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. died when the military aircraft he was piloting exploded.
You know what I bet? They were from Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
I bet you they probably went on, like, a little family trip to one of those, like one of the witch places, like
Salem?
Salem. And I bet you, because they were, like, rich, right? They probably did something that pissed off the witches. They were probably being obnoxious. One of their kids, like, probably, like, disturbed a witch coven or something. And I bet you they got a curse.
Yeah. Or they're just horribly misfortunate.
Or they were
I
cursed.
don't think so. I think they were cursed.
I think something happened that, like, their family got cursed because it's just so much stuff.
What theory do you buy with the JFK assassination? I'm kind of curious because there's a lot going on here.
I don't think it was just one guy. I think
yeah.
I don't buy the magic bullet.
The magic bullet theory sounds stupid.
LBJ involvement makes sense.
Mhm.
And also, like, since he literally ran the commission that, like, looked into it, I feel like that tracks.
So did the CIA, though.
Yeah. So
I'm
I
feeling
don't
like
know.
I think that it was probably the CIA and LBJ together.
Yeah, that
I think
makes
no
sense.
one has mentioned this, but I feel like this makes so much sense. Like, that the CIA would go, like, because basically the CIA was having a lot of things, like, declined by JFK, so why wouldn't they go, like, behind his back, talk to the VP and be like, we gotta get rid of this guy and put you in charge so you let us do our thing.
That makes sense.
And I feel like that makes a lot of sense. What do you think, Jordan?
Maybe the CIA hired one of the assassins, and LBJ hired Lee Harvey Oswald. And they, like,
You think there was two?
coordinate it well.
You think there was two assassinations going on at the same time?
Well, yeah, I think they weren't hired, like, smart, and I think they didn't coordinate it very well, and maybe they, like, were both just shooting
Huh.
to kill
That's
them.
actually really...
That would be crazy. Imagine, like, that's why there's so many conspiracies about this, because there was actually two different plans happening.
And then
that were
the
not
umbrella
together.
man shot him with a poison dart.
It was his form of protest.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much happening.
And then maybe the Umbrella Man was just like a time traveler who went back to see what happened.
I can't
Yeah.
believe we just
Figure
made
it
up this
out.
shit about him being a time traveler.
It makes sense.
But I think LBJ hired Lee Harvey Oswald because he was like, this will be so easy to just be like, oh, Russia did it.
Yeah, especially since it was like such a prominent thing at the time.
And if he already had another plan with the CIA that he thought like they were hiring an assassin of his choice, but they actually hired a different one, and then there was two.
Yeah, but then I'm interested by the mafia involvement.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, because Lee Harvey Oswald was assassinated by a club owner.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's so many ways you could look at it.
Yeah. I don't know. We're definitely going to put one of those little Q&A things. Yeah. So you guys let us know what you think.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was episode 75 of TGIC Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at tgic.podcast. Bye!
Bye!